Today we're exploring a really interesting topic of clinical trials, and we've got Kris, who's the CEO of Walski Clinical Research, with us. So I guess, Kris, the first question that we need to know is, what is a medical trial?
Okay, thanks so much, Wendy. So basically, the easiest way to explain a clinical trial or a medical trial or a research study is thinking about when you go and you get up in the morning or at night taking your pills. Well, how did they get there? How did the treatment that you take actually get here and is safe and effective? That's what we do. So basically, it's a big health study, and we need participants to participate in these trials to make sure drugs are safe and efficacious. So like the flu vaccine, for example, right? So every year you get your annual flu vaccine. There's heaps and heaps of trials that happen on an ongoing basis every single year so that we make sure we have the most current strain of the vaccine available and safe and effective for the everyday human.
So if someone's thinking about participating, how do they know if they're suited to participate?
Right. So in a way, it's kind of like trying out for a bit of a sports team in a way. Not every single person is eligible. You need to meet a specific level of criteria. But in most cases, in the kind of trials we run, that you either have a certain indication, so hypertension, for example, if you're struggling with, chronic diseases like metabolic diseases, obesity, or if you're just a healthy patient wanting to give back and participate in a trial, you have just basic health. And basically what happens is you would come reach out to us, or we would reach out to you. You come in and the doctor walks through and basically gives you a bit of a health checkup to make sure you're eligible and asks you questions about your medical history, interest, and then you consent to participate in the trial. Consenting, it's not a legal document. You can withdraw at any time, but that's just so that we know that we've conveyed all of the risks associated and all the potential benefits that you could receive from participating.
So if they go through that initial testing and if they are cleared to participate, what's it then like participating in the trial? Like, what's it involve? If someone's thinking about it, they might kind of go, oh, I'm not sure because I don't know what they will make me do. So maybe you could tell everyone about that.
Yeah, sure. And it's not scary. And I think sometimes people think it might be scary. Everything is laid out to you from the beginning. How much time commitment? Some studies are days long. Some studies are months long. Some studies are years long in cancer studies, for example. They'll tell you if there's a potential placebo arm and you could potentially be put on it and we won't know. They'll tell you if how many times you need to come into the clinic and what will happen at every single visit. You will literally know everything about. You get an agenda essentially of this is what your schedule will look like for, say, the next 6 months. You come in for 2 visits. This will happen. We might draw some blood or do a health checkup, and then we might just ring you every month to say, hey, how you going? Have you had any side effects, anything at all? That's how when you see every single side effect on the back of a drug label, that's because we've checked for every single thing that could possibly happen and make sure that the consumer knows.
That's a good way of understanding how those side effects end up on the on the information pack that you read. Yeah, that makes sense. So I would imagine that people participate in trials for lots of different reasons, but why do people participate, do you think?
Yeah, there's a plethora of reasons, and we always ask that because it always interests me. Like, I've been in research since I was 19 years old, and it's like I've been running them and not participating in them. But why do patients participate? They might have an indication and they're seeking a solution for themselves. This is an opportunity for new innovations that are coming to market that you're going to have access to before they're there. And remember, a trial and a drug can take up to 10 to 12 years to actually get to the consumer and up to $2 billion to actually get it there, right? And so 99% of these trials end up failing. So it's a really great way to have access if you're looking for something. But also on the other, people do it for philanthropic reasons or to give back to the community. COVID's a perfect example. If we didn't have the millions of participants on COVID trials, we would still be in lockdown likely. The flu vaccine took 40 years to get to the point, and what we did in a year, right? And then there's there's other rationale. People want to be compensated for time and reimbursement, and that's something that we also offer too. You've got to take time out of your busy schedules to come and see us, so we make sure that there's reimbursement schedule and that. So there's a variety of reasons that people participate.
I'm sure some people are curious you've given a bit of a hint there with some of the different studies that you're doing, but I'm curious, what studies do you currently have on that people could potentially get involved in? Yeah,
so we've got new studies coming in every single day, and just to know, they go through a rigorous ethics review before they get to the patient. Right now we have kind of a vaccine theme going on, so it happens around this time of year, and then right before the flu vaccines next year. So we've got a couple of RSV vaccines. As you know, that's been huge in the media about the impacts to patients, both young and older. So getting vaccines out there is really exciting. Plus, there's a whole push for combination vaccines. Why come in and get your RSV, your pneumo, your flu, your COVID, when you can start getting them in a one-stop shop? So we've got a COVID flu one coming up. We've got an RSV pneumo one coming up. But right now we have 2 RSVs ongoing. We've got a lot of patient interest. And you just have to be relatively healthy to participate, which is great. And it's a pretty light and easy study. We also do like those trials like in hypertension, obesity, and sexual wellness, things like obesity, women's health. We've a really interesting genital herpes trial, which is the new innovation. There has been no changes in 40 years in that market. So seeing these things come to light because of the research that's been done on things like COVID is why we get to have something new and interesting every single day. So it's a really great opportunity. If you just reach out and gauge interest, we can actually just assess what we have going on and say, hey, you might be eligible for this, or we could tag you for later.
That one-stop shop sounds good, because I know a lot of our audience this year have really suffered with that RSV virus, and that, you know, it's been a really tough year for it. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest from the audience, and I'm sure that by telling us a lot more about it, you've probably, I guess, maybe opened some people's minds to getting more involved. So thank you so much for your time today,
thank you
Kris.
so much, Wendy. I really appreciate you allowing me to just get some education out there about what we do.
Thank you.